Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Oh, I forgot my water. Well, let's hope I'm not going to need it. Just want to give it a minute or two while I get myself set up here and get people to chime in. For anyone here, please say hello if you wish. And let me know if my video, audio, if you could hear me okay. That would be greatly appreciated. I've had some technical difficulties before, so I just want to ensure that you could hear me. So please let me know. Excited for today's event. Looking forward to sharing what I have planned. And for anyone looking for some intuitive readings into their own personal codes or year cycles, this is definitely the time and place to come with your questions and to receive some guidance. So it looks like everything seems to be okay. If anyone's here, let me know if my audio is okay. Would be wonderful. Just give it another minute. Well, as people start chiming in here, I might as well just start with my intro. As many of you may know, my name is Maria Esposito, and I am the founder and owner of Revolution 9. And I am essentially your vibrational logic consultant and wholeness trainer, where I blend the metaphysics, vibrational energy work with strategic, logical framework and building for entrepreneurs that are looking to, whether you're starting out and you're looking to build, whether you're at the building stage and you're looking to scale, or you're just ready for a change, whatever your story is and whatever it is that you're looking for. I I tend to take apart and diagnose and analyze all the parts using both logic, strategic through all of my life experiences, and skill sets, and also use my intuitive abilities around the space of numbers. So I love what I do, and I do what I love. So that is pretty much enough about me. And yeah, so today is going to be the conclusion. For those of you that have been chiming in, I have been doing a 4-part 10-1 series. I could do a whole program on the whole 10-1 code. I could do a whole workshop on it. So I figured, because we are in the beginning stages of this year, I wanted to really break it down. Into this 4-part series, and to provide you the information on how valuable this year is. This is really truly a turning point, and it is your seed time for building out your business and life over the next 9 years, because we are at that beginning point of the 10-1 cycle. But because we're in a 10-1, the 10 is amplifying, and there is a lot of energy around that 10-1 instant manifestation God code. So hence why I decided to put together this 4-part series. For anyone that has missed and wants to learn more about the 10-1, the replays are on my YouTube channel. And by all means, always, if you find value in the content that I provide, please share it to people that you think that would find value in this. It really helps. As entrepreneurs, we like to help each other. That reciprocity in sharing and helping each other out. And as you know, this technological world, there's a lot of changes in the area of of algorithms, SEOs, optimization. So any little bit helps. So please like, share, and the content if you see value or anyone that would receive value from it. So, all right. So this year, so for our last concluding 10-1 series, I actually wanted to discuss a little bit of strategic, just giving you some nuggets on how to use the 10-1 energy within your next 9 years and the blueprint and what that looks like, how you could use the energy strategically, logically, and practically. And by all means, when we get to the reading section, I welcome any kind of questions, whether that's specifically to your soul codes. Soul codes are really important. This is kind of your foundational space, and that's where you really want to know, especially when you're working with numerology. You really want to know what your soul codes are because there are so many different layers to this, and using this tool, this vibrational tool, really helps to know the foundational practices and understandings and the rules. There are, for different aspects of numerology, there's a lot of rules and there are a lot of things. So by all means, there is a lot of information um, within my YouTube channel. So and this is a great place for having that interaction and answer, and come in to get those readings, so at least you'll know for sure 100% what those soul codes are. And then all the other things that I talk about. So for example, cycles, I'll be touching upon that today as well, which is also another layer of numerology. So with that said, today, so a lot of entrepreneurs these days are planning the right now. They're planning out their first quarter, their first half a year, or they're planning out their first year. And however, high level entrepreneurs are actually planning out and projecting out the next their next 9 to 10 years, their next decade. And because for the visionaries, so people with number ones, which are the big visionary leaders, these codes, these people are looking at the long term. They're looking at the bigger picture and they're reverse engineering the steps to get there from where they are to where they want to be. That is a key thing, is that reverse engineering. However, we could do that strategically, but that's, as many of you know, that's kind of where I come in, was that we look at also the metaphysical and the vibrational side to those strategic steps, so that you're not working against the energy, you're working with the energy. So literally, I've been, in a lot of my videos, I've been talking about just focusing on this year. So specifically this year, our first quarter is focusing on, I look at this as the seed time. This is where you are basically planting those seeds so that over the course of the year they could germinate. But looking at, being the number one, which is what this year is asking us, is to step into that leadership and action. It's telling you to look at the bigger picture. Let's look at the next 9 years and plan out those next 9 years. So look at this in terms of long term. This year is the seed year. So that seed year is really a big, big part of it is the mindset. You're going from that, you're really focusing on the brainstorming, the ideas that are percolating, that are really set, they make you feel really, really great, those ideas. But now this is the year where you're actually taking that next step into whether it's doing the research, whether it's putting it on paper, you're doing your analysis, your projections, the financial aspects, whether you are setting the tone, on a legal perspective, whatever that is. This is the year to be really setting that tone for the next 9 years. So it's really focusing on the foundational work. So if you have planned some kind of big adventure or some kind of big product launch or a big rebrand, this is the year, and it's not happening this year. It's happening over the next few years. This is the year to be setting those foundations, setting those systems up. Next, the other thing I wanted to touch upon, which I mentioned, is cycle years. So, like I said, understanding your own personal soul codes is the beginning foundational step. Now, as a vibrational logic strategist, I really love looking at where people are in their own personal cycles, because the 10-1 is actually a universal. So you're looking at two completely different vibrations. So we also have our own personal cycles that impact our internal world, external world, and it's basically telling us how we need to be over the next, for that person, for your own personal year. Whereas the universal year, which we're in that 10-1, that is the collective energy that we are all experiencing externally. So you're working with two different vibrations. So really, and the interesting thing is here is, so I'll give you an example. When you have your personal year that is telling you to be, do, and have in one space, that could be possibly conflicting to what the universal energy is. So using me as an example, and this is a prime example. So the universal year, as many of you know, it's asking you to take action, move forward, set those foundations, and it's a very fast moving energy. Now, for my personal year, I'm in a 16-7 year. So, what does that mean? So, personally, for me, what it's telling me this year until my birthday, December 31st, what it's telling me is that I need to slow down. This is a year of introspection for me. This is a year to learn, to gain knowledge. It's a year for me to really go in with deep and figure out the things that are possibly misaligned, the mindsets, personal development, and doing the research so that the following year you could take action, because uh, the year 17-8 is a completely different energy. So because I'm in this 7 year that's telling me to slow down, go and learn something new, you know, go within and, release whatever it is that I need to release, get out into nature and just, have a lot of self time, which is the completely different from what the external energy is. However, there is always ways to work within those energies. So for myself, this is a great year for me to really learn the tools, learn the things, because I do have a lot of projects that I'm working on. So this is a great year for me to take my time and really dig and go within and work on those things and learn the skill sets that I need to learn so that I could execute what I need to execute. However, but it's also telling me to, even though it's a fast moving energy, However, my personal year is telling me to slow down. That's okay, because as long as I'm still moving forward, the energy itself is still moving really quickly. However, I just need to be consciously aware that not to rush things faster than they need to be. So there is some conscious work here. And, continue to move forward. Gain those skill sets, learn the knowledge, work through the troubleshooting aspects that could occur, and don't get stuck in the past, because a 7 have a tendency to really get stuck in the past. So that's the shadow side of one of the many shadow sides of the 7. So that's to give you an example of the contrast that you could be experiencing based off of your own personal year versus what the external universal year is saying. So another key thing to remember. Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Can't we? Perfect. So you could hear me. Good. Yes. All right. So next, the other key thing. So this is a year, um, for those of you that know or have worked with me or know your own soul codes. Does anyone here know if they have a 1 code within their 6 soul codes? So if anyone here wants to answer that, please do. Because, and the reason why I want to mention this, for anyone who has a 1 code, that leadership in taking action and moving forward in a strategic, logical way. However, also listening to your gut, listening to your intuition. This is actually probably one of the shadow sides I see a lot in clients that I've had that are brilliant, logical, steadfast, move forward, take action kind of people. However, they do it in a very strategic, logical way. The 1 is a very intuitive number. And the key thing is to really listen to those inspired downloads. Listen to your intuition. When you get a high level, or even if it's something small, an idea, do the 48-hour rule. Like I've said in many of my other videos, because if you're not sure if that's your intuition or if that's your logic, if it's your logic, you're just going to be hitting walls. If it's your intuition, do the 48-hour rule. Set aside, do not take action, wait and see how you feel after the 48 hours. If you still have that same feeling and that same trigger that you want to move forward, chances are that is your intuition. Great time to move forward. If you find that after the 48-hour, you're kind of like, not really, that is the time. And that's telling you that that idea came from your analytical mind. So chances are you're probably going to want to put that idea aside, because in this year, if you're really connected intuitively, you're going to be getting a lot of inspired ideas. So it's really discerning, is that my logic or is that my intuition? You really want to take action in the intuition aspect. So for anyone who has the 1 codes, this is going to be magnified for you this year because of that simple fact that you have the universal energy on top of your own personal code. So you're getting double amplification of that energy. Okay, hello, can we? How do you know the difference between your intuition and your logic? I just explained that. Beautiful. Thank you. I didn't even see that question, but I guess I answered it intuitively. So very good. Beautiful. Are 1s impulsive? Is the 48-hour rule good for us to practice discernment? 100%. So for people that are new to intuition, or really wanting to find that balance between your brilliant logical mind and trusting in your inner wisdom, 100%. I find that for me, this was a really big thing that really helped me. However, I could pretty much now, because I really practice and use my intuition quite a bit. So in the beginning, that was one of the biggest tools that I use is wait. Because if you're really taking action on every single thing that excites you, that is a great idea, eventually ones have a tendency to go through burnout. So you really don't want to be that that have that shiny toy syndrome of bouncing from one thing to another, because that is a shadow side of the one, where they have a tendency to bounce from one idea to another and they don't complete things. So I say, if you don't really know if it's your logical mind or your intuitive mind, wait for 48 hours and see how that feels. Does it feel the same as when you first got that idea? Or does it feel like that feeling has been diminished? That is a really great way of discerning between the logical and your intuitive mind. So, yes, great question. Thank you. Yes, beautiful. And so, next, power days. So, high level achievers really look, there are so many people that they strategically, yet they use specific days and times to launch their products, to have, to move forward on an event. So when you're looking at these high level achievers, they are actually using numerology as well as astrological energies. I guarantee when you're looking at, different people, Ronald Reagan, the different presidents, people that are working and building these transformational products and services that we all know, I guarantee are working not just strategically, because strategy is only 50% of the equation. They are using other tools like astrology, like numerology, like intuitive guidance, shamanism, whatever that may be, whatever that tool that resonates with you. And they are using these, they're picking and strategically picking specific days because of the energies around those days. So this is a primary level. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I'll give you an example. So when you're looking at like ones and eights in numerology, have a vibration of, of manifestation and taking action that could create manifestations. So ones and eights are really great codes to be building around. However, I will say in different levels, there are prosperity codes, there are abundance accelerator codes, there are wealth generating codes, and there's even our own personal wealth formula. So, and that's derived by both our astrological natal chart and numerology soul codes. So, there are so many different levels, but I will share this with you, that the one commonality that I see in pretty much in all of these specifics, in terms of those abundance, prosperity, wealth formulas, and whatnot, 6, 8, and 9 tend to be the more common that are throughout those different energies. Those are three really powerful codes that have different levels. Now, wanting to learn more, March 26th, I'm actually doing a full-fledged cycles cycles workshop, where you'll be getting a very deep um, workbook that you'll be doing yourself, and then strategically coming into the workshop with everything complete, where I'll be guiding you on how to use specific your different prosperity codes, your power days, your power months, and your power years, and how to plan out your year so that you're working with not only your personal energies, but the energies of the 10-1 as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll be sending out a lot more information talking about that. March 26th from 2 to 4 will be that workshop where I'll be strategically guiding you and helping you plan your year out, especially if you're having codes, if you're having specific launches. This is going to be a very powerful year for a lot of launches and whatnot. So we'll be working that together. But stay tuned for that. However, keep that in mind. The one is not consistent, but yes, one is an abundance. It does have that prosperity abundance code to it, but it's not as consistent as the 6, 8s, and 9. So just give you a little tidbit of that. And so with that said, let's see, how are we doing for timing? I'm just going to go back and read all of these comments. Yes, let's see. How do you know the difference between your two? Yeah, got that. We're in alignment. Definitely struggle with bouncing idea. Yes. So bouncing back and forth. So if you do, so never mind my name. Very good. I love it. So tell me, do you know whether or not you have a 1 code within your 6 or possibly within your main 3, which are your day of birth, your life purpose, or your destiny? Do you know if you have a 1 code in one of those? Yeah, let me know. I know there's a bit of a delay here. I'm just curious on whether or not, because if you do have a 1 code, even if it's in your secondary codes, yes, one of the shadow sides of the 1 is because, especially if they're very aligned and very intuitive, and they actually listen to that, they could get continuously be getting these intuitive insights and ideas that come to them very, very quickly, and the problem is that they're jumping on all these opportunities, all these ideas. So they're starting, but they're not completing. So really, and then because they're starting so many and they're not completing, this is actually creating burnout. So I'll tell you, I don't have a lot of 1 root numbers. I do have a master number 11-2, which is double the emphasis of the 1. However, I don't have in my 6 codes a straight 1. However, I will tell you this, being in a 10-1 code, I've been finding, and I actually had a meeting with one of my team members, my strategist, my marketing strategist. I said to her, I feel like I'm starting all these things. I have all these projects on the go. And I started getting confused because I was creating all these manuals, creating all these PowerPoint presentations, and I was mixing them all up because I had all these different products, and all these launches that I have. And even though I don't have a personal 1, the vibration externally will automatically do that. And it's funny because I'm a pretty focused person, and I am very good with starting things and completing things. That is actually probably a shadow side for a 4 for me, is that sometimes we get stuck and we try to perfect everything because we're all about, 4s are all about that foundation. They're all about giving, creating legacy, creating valued products and services. However, it could also be a detriment because the shadow side of that is that you get stuck in the ways of doing things. So the funny thing is, with the energy that we're all experiencing in that 1 code, I said to myself, okay, I got to stop. I'm going to focus on 1 product. I'm going to complete it. Then I'll go on to the others. So there are ways to, it's emphasized for people that have the 1 codes. However, people that don't, like myself, are still experiencing that shiny toy syndrome and bouncing, or that squirrely, you're kind of bouncing all over the place like a squirrel. So so it's a little bit funny. Uh yes, yeah, are once impulsive. Is the 48-hour rule good for yeah, to yes, we answered that. The discernment, yeah, the 48-hour rule is a great way to combat that shiny toy syndrome and bouncing from one idea to another. Um, do the 48-hour rule. If you're experiencing that, and you know what, whether you're in business or not, if you're experiencing that in your life, step back and wait that 48 hours and see how you feel after the 48 hours, whatever that is, whatever it is in your life. And I definitely struggle with bouncing from idea to idea. Yes. Yes. And you know what? We're all going to experience that to some degree. For the ones, you're going to feel that double. You're going to feel that double the emphasis for the people that have one codes, because they're being highlighted this year. And what are the difference between the wealth generating codes versus power generating codes? Um, wow, there's so many different aspects of the different prosperity codes and the wealth generating. So specifically, when you're looking at, like, I like to look at abundance accelerator. Abundance is, for me, it's not just financial wealth. It encompasses financial wealth, but it's abundance all around. So abundance codes actually do encompass the number one. And so those abundance accelerator codes, do create those abundance. So using them in price points, using them in your codes. I personally, when I teach cycles specifically, I'm always using cycles that are associated to your soul codes. So knowing your soul code is really the foundation, knowing what those are, and then using cycles and figuring out your power days, power months, and power years that reflect to your three main soul codes. So that's how, and I'll be sharing that and working through this. That's what the workshop I'll be doing will be all about, is really understanding, what exactly your soul codes are, how to figure them out. And then we are going to strategically look at your codes and plan your launches intuitively, but also strategically. So that's what the workshop will be about. Um, in terms of wealth formula, now that's a whole different space. Really, really, really powerful, because we all have a personal wealth formula, and that personal wealth formula is specific to your soul codes, but also in particular your three important day of birth, life path, and your destiny, but is also associated to your astrological natal chart. So we look at primarily your different house cusps that are specific to money, work, and career, which are specific houses. And we also look at certain planetary codes. So whatever the degrees that those certain planets are, those also tell a story astrologically. So that also tells you vibrationally. So your wealth formula is actually a more in depth. But it's everyone should really know what those wealth codes are. Um, Stay tuned. Possibly in the future, that'll be another workshop to determine how to figure out your own personal wealth codes, because you'll really, and using your own personal wealth codes and planning and strategically aligning your price points, strategically planning specific launch days with your specific wealth codes will only emphasize the returns. So yeah, really, really great question. However, much more intricate than doing that here. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Because we have some time here. So uh, please, any questions that we have, please keep sending them. And general codes. Have you ever started? You have to start with one to build from there. Yeah, I personally, when you're looking at using numerology as another tool to uh, be, do, and have, you know, you really want to first get the foundations of really knowing your own personal soul codes. What is that telling you? And having an understanding of the main root numbers, having an understanding of the master numbers, the double digits, and just getting that foundation. Then from there, you really want to start learning. Then you could look at things like the triads. Are your six codes? This is your next layer of numerology where we have three main triads. You have the mind thought, you have the matter manifestation, and you have the emotion feeling creativity, or other words, resonance. I like to use the code resonance within business. So look at your six codes. Do you find that most of your codes fall under one of the triads? Are they evenly dispersed between the three? And look at that. That's a really great space to start, and see. Because if you're really heavy, say, in the mind, chances are you're probably a very conscious, logical person. And probably work really, really hard for what it is that you have created in your life. If you're not, and you're, say, short on the emotion, the creativity triad, chances are you probably aren't as connected to yourself more emotionally. Your mind kind of runs the show. The manifestation, these are your system, these are your analysts, these are your people that are building their division. These are the people that are actually creating the architectures, the blueprints, the strategists. These are the people, the high level achievers, the CEOs that really have a foundational, logical, but yet also an intuitive understanding. And they're creating and taking action in a certain way that is manifesting in physical form. So that's a really another great level to use within your life and business, is understanding, are my six codes, are they clumped in one specific triad or not? And then I also, another is, are your cycles, is now looking at your own, what year are you in and what is it telling you? What is the energy telling you? And are you in alignment with that energy, or are you fighting against it? So that's another key thing that you're going to want to look at, are the cycles and the days, and strategically use those power days, months, and years so that you are ultimately working with the energies, so that you're seeing the fruit of your labor. Essentially, we for entrepreneurs, there's no shyness in taking action. The thing is that what I say, and I say this to a lot of my clients, is you really want to minimize those dips, because in life we're constantly experiencing those dips. Ideally, when you're working against the energies, those dips tend to be a lot deeper. So by working consciously, analytically, logistically, systematically, but also working intuitively, emotionally, and vibrationally, you're getting the wholeness of everything of who we are, and you're looking at the whole picture. And keeping in mind, your business has its own power codes as well. So, what is your business saying to you? What is your business asking of you, of the visionary leader building, creating, and running the business? Are you in alignment to what your business is asking for? Or are you exhibiting the shadow sides and you're basically more aligned with who you are and what you are meant to be doing? So that's another that's another layer of of but however, I am taking on and opening up 4 spots for opening up 4 spots specific to one-on-one clients that are looking to really up level and understand on the conscious strategic but also vibrational levels of their self as the founder and also their business. And strategically I'll be guiding you through the whole works of really preparing not only for this year but for the next 9 years. So I'm opening up 4 spots to truly guide people in using numerology and helping you plan for the next decade. So opening up 4 spots for people that are interested in working with me and using this incredible tool in a very logical but also vibrational way. So, and that's what creates the wholeness. And let's see. And how do we incorporate destiny codes into business decisions? How do we incorporate destiny codes into business decisions? So, your destiny code is essentially those are your service, they're your products, they're your service, it's the execution of what you're meant to be. It's the services that you pick that are meant to be shared with the world personally. So when you're looking at that destiny, it's really so. To give you an example of a destiny code, my destiny code is a 72-9. So the 72-9 is the humanitarian, and it's also about the group consciousness. So it's about working collectively in a group environment. The nines are people that really lead groups in a space of transformation. These are the leaders of these groups that you hear on the news that are creating these changes in the world and are doing this collectively because they have a vision, they have a purpose, and people want to align and they see that vision. And these are the people that are doing this in ways that are helping humanity. And it's also a number of philanthropy. So giving, doing it in a way. So, for example, me doing these lives is my way of giving back and sharing my knowledge, expertise, and experience in a way that could possibly help you. So the 9 is it's telling you to really focus on the bigger picture, leading groups, and whereas then you have then you have codes 2. So a 2 is also it's the compassionate it's the compassionate collaborator. This is another really, really powerful collaboration. This is your person that is really great with working with groups, heading, also leading groups in a way that is really heart centered, but yet diplomatic. Twos have a way of being that mother figure and supportive role, but also are able to make diplomatic decisions in the moment and say, no, this is what we're doing, but they do it in a very loving way, and that's also another collaboration number. Whereas, say, the number 5 destiny code are people. These are the people that are charismatic. They're so charismatic. When they present themselves to the world, they know how to communicate. They're dynamic and they're magnetic. These are people that are meant to be on social media. These are people that are meant to be expressing themselves through different channels of media, whether that's even writing, social media, uh, speaking engagements, whatever that is. But these are people that are high level communicators. But also, the three are also communication numbers as well. So yeah, there are different ways that your destiny codes could be used. It's understanding, first knowing what your destiny code is and understanding the vibrations of each of the codes, because especially if your codes have multiple numbers, which chances are your destiny code will have a double digit or two double digits and then your root. Those are also telling you a little story. Each of those vibrations of each of those numbers are telling you something and are sharing something about you. So aligning to that really, for me, it brings in awareness and clarity, which is definitely a beautiful thing, because I think nowadays, having clarity and awareness, having awareness really allows you to make decisions and gives you the insights to the areas you know that you could create those improvements. So that awareness and clarity, because sometimes you might have passion about multiple things. However, I like to say, I was sharing this with a client recently, that when I first got into real estate consultancy, I used to focus on all of Ontario. And I had opportunities in different markets, and I had to do a lot of work really understanding the market so I could pretty much serve, even if I wasn't very familiar with those markets. And it created a lot of havoc in my life. So this good friend of mine said, Maria, he goes, do you want to be a Walmart and serve everybody? Or do you want to be a specialist? And that has held with me. And this was at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. And that's something that I have held within my entrepreneurial space. And hence, with all the businesses that I've built, I've always specialized, because ultimately, I'm not a person that wants to serve the world. I want to be able to really niche down, become the specialist in the area that I really know, so I could continue to learn and grow that specialty, so I could really serve a niche core group of beautiful entrepreneurs. So really niching down, and having numerology as a tool to give myself that clarity and insight has really, really helped me to, really lessen the stresses and give me understanding of who I am and even what my business is asking for. So really powerful way of using this diverse tool of numerology. hmm Good question. Davina, I've been working with Maria on this, and I had been so helped to create direction. I would highly recommend. Oh, Dave, friend, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. You know what? It's been so much fun working with you and really diagnosing and analyzing. So I see a lot of powerful things happening with you and your business this year, step by step. As you know, you have a lot of four codes there in your codes. So step by step, we will definitely get there, and you will definitely gain that clarity that you've been looking for. So thank you for sharing that comment. I really appreciate that. And so agree, Carrie. Yes, yes. It's been a wonderful pleasure to really share this space with you. And I just want to say thank you for everyone that chimes in, that supports. I know some people are here, and whether you're interacting or not, I just want to say I truly appreciate and love you all. And the support that I've been getting has been such a beautiful thing. So thank you. I just want to say thank you for everybody that has supported me through this journey. And I look forward to continuing supporting you and through this vibrational logic, strategic blueprint building. So really looking forward to continue to serving you all. And being a specialist or Walmart is a huge revelation. Yeah, you know what? That was a big thing at the beginning, and I feel so honored that I met this person, and he said that because he brilliant, brilliant, brilliant being, a very successful, entrepreneur and business owner, and he said because he noticed the potential. However, he also knew the stresses I was going through because of the learning curve of learning different markets. So what did I end up choosing? If you're curious, so when I took what he said, and as opposed to focusing on all of Ontario, I really niched down and became the Niagara region specialist because it's my hometown. I pretty much already was learning the different markets in the Niagara region, but being from here already kind of helped give me that foundation. Even though I'm from St. Catharines, and St. Catharines was my specific hub because not only was at that time St. Catharines was a booming place for real estate investing, still a really great space to be in because there's a lot of transitions. And Niagara is still great. However, I'll tell you, with a lot of the rules in Canada and Ontario, I personally would not be investing now anywhere here. However, for anyone that doesn't want to go abroad, like myself, I don't see myself investing anytime soon here. I see myself going abroad in different markets. And however, if you still want to stay here, for people that are buy and hold investors for the long term and they just want to find something, get that cash flow, build that equity, and have that ROI, you could still invest in the Niagara region and get those returns. However, I became that specialist specifically to St. Catharines, but also the Niagara region. So I went from Ontario and I really niched down, and I really started promoting myself as the Niagara region specialist. Was featured on a few podcasts, and that's how I became really well known. And through my networks, and because I really helped quite a bit of people in that space build their wealth. A lot of people referred my services out to their connections, and that's how I became known. That's how I became known as the Niagara region specialist. So hence, this is kind of same thing with Revolution 9. It's really gaining that clarity, gaining that clarity, because you might not even know, you might have an idea of who you are and what you like, but just really understanding of just having that foundational blueprint of your own personal soul codes will really help to give you even that more clarity and more concise, that you can make the decisions with confidence. And ultimately, that's the end of the day, is that you want to be able to make decisions with confidence and not be unsure when stepping forward and making those decisions. So I have found that numerology has been a really transformational tool for me, considering that I'm a very logical, analytical person. So, however, also very intuitive. And that's something that I've had to. So going back to that previous question, discernment, I've really had to find that space of trust, in my intuition, trust in source, trust in my guides, my spirit guides, trust in my spirits of my business. Yes, I actually have two spirits of my business. Thank you to Colette Barron Reed. I took her little workshop and was able to connect. So when I'm really stuck, I do connect with my two guides, and they're actually female and a male. Beautiful, beautiful souls. So yes, That's another layer. But she's brilliant. Colette Baron Reed is brilliant in that space where she talks a lot about, the soul of your business. So very interesting stuff. Yeah, so agree. Let us see. Being the specialist, yes. Oh, thank you. I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you, Maria. You're amazing. Oh, thank you, David. I really appreciate that. You are wonderful as well. So I feel very honored to be in the presence of such beautiful souls and beautiful people. So thank you. And yeah, and I just want to say thank you to those of you that are also watching the replay. Please, I was talking to my strategist, and apparently there's more changes happening with the different social platforms and the algorithms. And so it's been a very interesting space. So, as fellow entrepreneurs, please like, share, subscribe, because it really does make a difference to the algorithm and in helping even getting my message out. So please do so on your downtime. And yeah. So what I wanted to share as we conclude here, unless anybody else has any questions, any readings, or any other questions, does everybody know what cycle year they're in? Or does anyone know their own personal codes that they'd like to share? Please do so now. And I'm more than happy to give you any insights, especially if you're open to sharing any difficulties or any contrasts that you may be experiencing, or maybe you're looking for some clarity in something. Please comment, and I'm more than happy to give you some intuitive guidance in that perspective. So because there's a delay and we are getting close to the end here, I want to conclude by sharing. So for anyone who is new to numerology, new to me, new to Revolution 9, and really want to learn more, in the description, there is a link to my Entrepreneurial Soul Code quiz. This is going to it's going to share with you, based on the questions, what vibrations your alignment with. So it'll spit out based on the answers that you give. And please be honest. Be honest with yourself and choose the questions that best suit you. And that's going to tell you, and it'll give you a response to the different alignment codes that you're aligned to. Now, the next step is to figure out, are those codes that the quiz provides you, does it align with your actual soul codes? That's the next step. But it's a really great way just to kind of play with that code and see, is this what vibrations are you in alignment with? Really powerful. The next level, as I mentioned during this time, I am opening up 4 spots. I already have a few clients that I'm working with, and I really want to keep this area small so I could give the most optimal guidance. I do have 3 packages. So, depending on what it is that you're looking for, I guide you through and we go through a whole diagnostic and analysis of the founder, of the business, or if you want the ultimate package where we look at the whole entity, founder, and we put together a whole long-term strategic plan. So there are different packages based on what it is that you're looking for, and essentially I'm guiding you through and giving you those logical strategic steps in whatever it is that you're looking to plan and create, but also taking the intuitive guidance from your guides, from my guides, and looking and bringing all those puzzle pieces together to really create the wholeness between you and your business. So opening up those 4 spots currently. The other thing is that, like I also mentioned, March 26th, I am doing a 2 hour workshop. This is all about the entrepreneurial power codes. So it is specifically to cycles. We are going to be determining your cycle day, month, and year. What is that telling you for specifically, and understanding how to use that strategically, so when you're wanting to launch products, services, or events, how, I'm going to help you, guide you through strategically planning those times that'll be the most advantageous for you and your business. So, and we'll also be talking about some prosperity codes and whatnot. So, also looking at those factors as well. So, that'll be March 26th. I'm putting together information. My team is getting my booking page up and running. And I will be sharing that with you very soon. So if you're looking for that guidance, you'll be getting a whole workbook that you'll need to have complete before the actual workshop, because the workshop will not be a training. It'll be more of me strategically uh, guiding you through the next year and so on, at least for this year, and using the 10-1 vibrational energy to really help you plan it next to you and work with the energies, so you're creating those favorable opportunities and making you some money. So that is that. And the other thing I want to share with you, so many of you know that I am a Hira collective practitioner. I have had the honor to meet such beautiful souls being part of this it's an online in-person community. It's a booking platform of holistic practitioners, and I am one of the vetted. Only 17% of the people on that platform have been accepted to be part of this collective, and honored to be one of those practitioners. So I'm actually going to be doing a Numerology 101 presentation during that workshop. And funny enough, it's actually the same day as my workshop, but it'll be in the evening. My workshop's from 2 to 4. The Hero Collective Activate Your Intuition workshop will be from 6 to 9. However, the beautiful thing is that for anyone that is wanting to learn to enhance their intuitive abilities, this is the workshop you're going to want to be at as well. So yes, I'll be sharing my expertise on Numerology 101. You'll be learning and finding out specifically your numerology soul codes, day of birth, life path, and destiny, and sharing what that means for you in terms of the root numbers and what that says about you. However, you'll also be meeting some fellow practitioners, other hero practitioners and friends of mine that will be working in the area of astrology, of tarot, of hypnosis, and other somatic energy. So please, anyone who's interested in working and really enhancing the intuitive abilities, that is also another really, really great workshop and very, very reasonably priced. So the links are in my description. So you want to learn a little bit more, curious on what's going on for the soul code quiz. You want to book your free 20-minute consultation and working with me, so we could connect and see if working together is something that would be a great move forward. Book your session with me today. Link is in there as well. And then my workshop. Stay tuned for that. And then the Hera Collective Activate Your Intuition link is also in the description. So just giving you those heads up. And so for anyone that's really interested in learning the metaphysical aspects of who we are and enhancing these beautiful abilities within ourselves, lots of things going on, and stay tuned because a lot of other things coming on. will be coming to be this year. Other than that, any other questions? Any other questions? No? Well, it's already 3:05. We have gone over, but that is okay. Thank you, everybody who have attended, interacted. Thank you for everybody that is watching the replay. And I really look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. I believe I want to say that's March 11th, same time, same place. And stay tuned for what that topic will be. Until then, sending you lots of high vibes and hope to see you very soon. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.